right, so today we're going to be looking at 25 to 30. It's a review for the week. So the last video of the week, let's take a look. 25 and 26. I need you guys to write equations of the lines. Some of them, I need the slope intercept form, like number 25. And some of them, I need the standard form, question number 26. So for me to draw an equation of a line, a couple things I need to do. I need to know. First of all, I need to know, let me write a B for my y-intercept, right? Because usually when I graph, it tells me where to begin. So I need to know my y-intercept, and I'm going to use m for slope. I always need that, no matter which equation I'm going to use. The y-intercept in this case, right, where do I cross the y-axis? Right here. The value y is a positive 1. So I'm even going to write it with the sign. Now for the slope, I need 2 points. There is that point, and let me use this other point. For the slope, let me travel from one point to the other. So it seems like I go down 3. So let me put -3 on top. Remember, the number on top tells me up or down. And then it seems like I go to the right 3, +3. Now on a slope, when there's a negative sign, bring it to the front. Whether it comes from the top or the bottom, just bring it to the front. And then simplify your fraction if you can. 3 over 3 is 1. So for the slope intercept form, I'm going to write this as y equals, because the way we usually see it is y equals mx plus b. M is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. So I'm going to write this as y equals, I know my slope is a -1, but I'm just going to write this as negative x. Right? I'm not going to write -1x. My y-intercept with the sign included is +1. If you have fractions, use the backslash. All together, no spaces. So y equals -x plus 1. Now for question number 26, I still need to know what's the y-intercept and what's the slope. The y-intercept, where do I cross the y-axis? At +3. For the slope, I need another point. I know I have to go down 1 and over 4. Bring the negative to the front, and my slope is going to be 1 over 4. All right, so the way I'm going to write this to begin with, let me go y equals -1/4 x plus 3. First thing I'm going to do, because for the standard form, I should have no fractions. So let me multiply everything by 4. That's going to give me 4y is equal to a -1x plus 12. Remember when I did 4 times 1/4, when I have a whole number in a fraction, you multiply with the number on the top and divide with the number at the bottom. So that's how I got the -1x. All right, so no fractions. Second thing is move the x and the y to the left side. So my -x, let me move it as a +x. So I have x plus 4y equals 12. No fractions, x and y are on the left side. My x cannot start with a negative. So if it starts with a negative, switch all the signs. This case, it doesn't. So that's it. X plus 4y equals 12. Let's take a look at question 27. Write the slope intercept form of the equation of the line described. When it says parallel, I'm going to use the same slope. So my slope is 2 over 5. My first point, let me call this x1, y1. So, and I'm going to use the formula y minus y1 is equal to m. M is the slope, x minus x1. So I'm just going to do this as y minus 1. It's equal to 2 over 5, x minus 0. You get rid of parentheses. So y minus 1, it's equal to 2 over 5x, and then 2 times the 0 is just 0. To finish this minus 1, let me move it over as a plus 1, and I'm going to have y equals 2 over 5x plus 1. When it says parallel, we use the same slope. When it says perpendicular, the slope that I'm going to use going to be different sign to begin with. So it's going to be negative, and then flip the fraction, 3 over 1, which is just known as a negative 3, right? My slope that I'm going to use is a negative 3. Let me label my sides. This is x1, y1, and I know the slope, and I'm going to use the formula y minus y1 is equal to m, and then x minus x1. So let me write this as y minus a negative 4, it's equal to negative 3, x minus 2. Minus a negative basically is plus. So let me write this as y plus 4, it's equal to negative 3x plus 6. All right, I distribute the negative 3. To get the y by itself, this plus 4, let me move it over as a minus 4. So it's going to give me y equals negative 3x plus 2. Right? Simple. Now the last two examples, let's take a look. Given 2 points, I want you to write the slope-intercept form, or I want you to write the standard form. So let me label my size to begin with. Let me call this x1, y1, because that's the first point. And then let me call this x2, y2, because that's the second point. For my slope, because I need my slope, I'm going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which in this case, 5 minus 1 over 0 minus 1. It gives me 4 over a negative 1. Bring the negative to the front. 4 over 1 is just 4. So my slope is a negative 4. And then once I have a slope, I'm going to choose a point. Let me choose this point. And I'm going to use the formula y minus y1 equals m, and then x minus x1. So I'm going to write this as y minus 1 is equal to a negative 4, and inside parentheses I have x minus 1. Let me get rid of parentheses. So let me write this as y minus 1 equals negative 4x plus 4. And to finish this, because when I'm asking for the slope-intercept form, I want the y by itself. This minus 1, let me move it over as a plus 1. So that gives me y equals negative 4x plus 5. All together, no spaces. And if you have fractions, use the backslash on your keyboard, the bottom right. That's the backslash. That's slope-intercept form. Now, if I ask you for standard form, let me start by getting the slope. Let me label this as x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'm going to use m for slope. And I know that's the second y minus the first y over the second x minus the first x. So in this case, 4 minus a negative 1 over a negative 4 minus 3. That's going to give me 5 over negative 7. Bring the negative to the front, 5 over 7. So my slope is negative 5 over 7. Why? When there's a negative sign, it doesn't matter if it comes from the top or from the bottom, bring it to the front. And then I'm going to use the formula y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. I'm gonna choose a point. Let me choose this one. So I'm gonna go y minus a -1. It's equal to a -5/7 inside parentheses x minus 3. The minus and negative on the left side, let me write that as a plus sign. Because I want this in standard form. First thing, let me just get rid of fractions. Let me multiply everything by 7. It's gonna give me 7y plus 7 is equal to a -5 inside parentheses x minus 3. Now let me get rid of parentheses. So 7y plus 7 is equal to -5x plus 15. Okay, a couple things. Move the letters to the left side. So the -5x, move it as a positive 5x. And this plus 7, move it over as a -7. Letters on the left and no letters on the right. So that gives me 5x plus 7y is equal to 8. For standard form, no fractions, x and then y on the left side, and the x does not start with a negative, so we're good. Let me zoom out. Now you guys can see what we did.